Hi, I'm Bill Serban, Director of the Center for Advancing Teaching and Learning at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. This brief video is about how to reduce students' test anxiety. Many college students have test anxiety that impairs their performance. For example, this graph shows the exam scores of 168 students in an undergraduate psychology course. High test anxious students, as indicated by the red bar, had lower scores on all three course exams than students with lower test anxiety. Results like these are typical. Test-anxious students underperform on examinations. But recent research has uncovered a way to reduce the negative effects of test anxiety, and the intervention is surprisingly easy to implement in college courses. Research by Professor Sion Bylock and her colleagues at the University of Chicago has shown that test-anxious students who write about their test-related worries for just a few minutes before an examination perform closer to their actual potential, essentially eliminating the negative effects of anxiety. Here is a study that illustrates how this strategy works with high test-anxious students. In the study, high test-anxious students took two tests. On a low-pressure pretest, two groups of test-anxious students scored at the same level. The researchers then created a high-pressure post-test situation. Before taking the post-test, one group, the expressive writing group, was asked to write about their test worries for several minutes. The control group did not do the expressive writing. As the graph indicates, students who wrote about their test-related worries improved their scores on the post-test, while the performance of the control group dropped significantly. If you would like to use the expressive writing strategy in your classes to reduce students' test anxiety, here are 3 recommendations to help you get started. First, if you want to get an idea about the incidence of test anxiety among your students, you can administer the Cognitive Test Anxiety Scale at the start of your course. This is a 27-item questionnaire that assesses the extent of students' cognitive test anxiety. Based on their scores, you can identify the number of students who have high or low test anxiety. Second, the actual writing strategy is straightforward. Before each test, give students 5 to 10 minutes to write a response to the expressive writing prompt. Be sure that students know how the responses will be handled. You may collect their responses, but tell students their responses will not be graded and not to include their names. Third, track students' performance to see whether the strategy is working. Correlate students' anxiety scale score with their test scores to monitor students' test performance. Remember, this strategy will benefit high test-anxious students, but will not benefit low test-anxious students. If you would like access to the Cognitive Test Anxiety Scale and the expressive writing prompt, go to the website on the screen.